Okay, now that I'm not muted and the recording is working, this should be it. So to log into Qualtrics, like I said, I just went to uvu.qualtrics.com and it'll be the same login as if you were logging into Canvas. And you pull up, it should look something like this, kind of a blank screen. You probably won't have projects sitting here already. So one of you will go here and create new project here on the right and start a new project. It'll invite you, if you've done past projects, to pick one of those or to kind of pick one of their templates. I have never used any of them to kind of create my own. So I've just gone here and, create my own survey and get started. So usually I just do it from blank project name. So I'm going to do this. This is demo project. But you can name it what you want. The name of the project won't come up, won't show up in the actual survey itself. So you can kind of name it what you want, but be professional. And it'll jump you right in to creating your question set for the survey. Now, one of the things you can do here is you can deliver a kind of a information, if you want, for the start of the survey, if you want to tell people something about it. So kind of the general navigation is this is where your questions will populate. Qualtrics will try to guess what type of question you're creating when you first start to write your question. It'll think it knows what choices you want. Sometimes it guesses right for me, but usually I've got a different set of answers that I want. Over here is kind of how you would set up the question. Is it a multiple choice? Is it a fill in the blank? How many choices do you want? Do you want to allow them to select multiple options? And of course, if you click here, there's lots of different options. They kind of show you templates of what they look like, those type of things. But again, if you wanted to just start with kind of describing, so you can start with descriptive text. And so all this will be is just, hey, here's our survey. Thank you for taking it. It should take about this much time. Just gives you a little introduction opportunity for the survey. So let's just do this. Welcome to my demo survey. Thank you for watching and participating. This should take you about 10 minutes. And then you just create a new question. Okay, so that will now kind of just be a text block. It's good to go. You can add a question with this button here too, or take it out, that type of thing, same thing, or just create a new question. You can then also reorder your questions if you need to by just dragging them and moving them as you get more of them. So a very common question type is the Likert scale. So how likely are you to participate in the following survey? And see, they already populated thinking I would know what I want in terms of likely. So in this case, I really only want 5 options, from extremely likely, somewhat, neither likely. So kind of it already populates it forth, which is great. And I can move on to the next question. If it doesn't, if it doesn't know what I want, so how many different aspects of a computer I'm just making it up right now. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to do this type of question. I'm going to do like a multiple selection, let them choose all the ones they want. So I come over the answers. This is a multiple answer. So you see that I kind of changed the boxes. That means that they'll be able to select multiple, 1 or 2 or 3. So again, you can have a lot. And the nice thing is you can actually, where do you do it? You can add columns. So 2 columns or 3 columns or whatever, just depends on how many answers you get. So this could be, I care about RAM, hard drive space, screen resolution. I care about keyboard, brand, mouse. I don't know, on and on it goes. And again, you can tweak these and play with them a little bit. You can take away a choice, add that choice. You can even offer a other. So let me do another one. This could be, and here allow text entry. So this could be, you know, write in your own. I don't recommend doing a lot of these because again, people don't want, they want the survey to be really easy and quick. But I'm just showing you that you could have, you have an other category, and it's really important that you're trying to do some exploratory and you don't know all the answers to the question. When you do your survey, I recommend 1, maybe 2 open-ended questions. Also, when you do your survey, if you're looking for demographic information, so like age, sex, email, or any private information, I recommend, and it's suggested that you do that information gathering last. People don't like to give out that private information, and so sometimes they'll exit the survey. But the good news is you can still at least capture the results up until that point. So the survey will capture, and you can actually say at the end of it, do I want to keep this survey or not? You know, the results that I have partially, and still give me some results. So just remember, as you guys create your survey, if you're doing any of that demographic information, trying to gather that, do that at the end. What else? Oh, so let's do another question, and let's just say, have you ever purchased an HP laptop? Right. So they again populated this. I really just want yes or no. Maybe you could say, I don't know, because maybe somebody just don't know if they've purchased one. And then if we do another question, we could say, what brand of HP laptop did you buy? They're probably not going to know, but anyway, I wanted to show you that what you can do is, you know, if they say no to this question, they shouldn't get this question. So what you can do in here is come in here and you can add display logic and add skips logic. So what I do is come to the next question in this case and add display logic and ask this question right here. Sorry, let's do this. I think it's in the one above it. Just if condition is no is selected, then skip to right now end of survey, right? But if I had another question, so question 7, so now I say skip to question 7. So now it says, have you ever purchased a laptop? No. Well, then this question is not relevant to them. Let's move them on to the next question. So this is where you can start to have some adventure and opportunities, and you can do multiple of these conditions. So maybe you don't want them, maybe you don't want them to see this again, so you can add another skip logic to this. Like you can add, condition is yes. So if condition is I don't know is selected, skip to question 7. Let's remove that one. Okay, so now if no is selected, skip to question 7. A little clunky. If I don't know is selected, skip to it's question 7. They just haven't written it in yet. So in this case, I've got a couple of these on here saying, okay, if they select either of these 2 options, skip question 6 and go to 7. So that's kind of how you can and you can do the same thing here. You can actually add display logic saying, you know, only display this question if something above it is selected. So you can kind of do it either way. Whatever seems more intuitive to you kind of works for that. Final question, fill in the blank, something like that. So if you are going to do, instead of a multiple choice, this would be what I kind of call a text entry question. I would recommend a multi-line box or maybe an essay text box because people like to write. So this will just be kind of a, you know, if you wanted to look for them to answer in a question and actually type in, that's how you could do this question. And then of course you've got your end of the survey. If you add a block, you could again kind of break up your survey if it's too much. I don't recommend that. I only recommend surveys at the most of 10 questions. Again, because your audience is most likely not going to be incentivized to take your survey. Providing incentives like a chance to win something is always good. Just need to make sure that you give out that winning and that your client is okay with that or however you're doing it. But this isn't really perfect, but at least gives me an idea of what, you know, walking through the survey and answering the different types of questions. Playing with this is great. I just wanted to keep this as short as possible, but I wanted to show you, okay, now I can go to this preview button And what's nice is it'll preview it to you on kind of what a desktop looks like and what it looks like on mobile. So scrolling through, I can see, okay, and then I can move forward and I can actually see what it would look like on a mobile device as well as on a desktop. So you kind of see, oh, okay, this is how these questions are going to work. Yes. You can see how it gets answered even on a mobile device too. Okay. So, so that's just kind of a nice little preview that you can do to see how the survey is going to look and how it's going to flow. Okay. Now let me go. I think if I just close out of this, we can go back to our survey. And then, you know, once we feel pretty good about it, we can go to publish. You can do this look and feel, and you can add a lot of different options to this on kind of look and feel, like what questions, how many questions pop up, is it a new page, when do you have them move on to the next page, like questions per page here, that type of thing, a progress bar. All of this is just more advanced things you can do and play with. I don't play with a lot of these because I don't create real advanced crazy surveys, but all of this is available. You can add branding to your survey if you want and put in a logo at the top so people kind of know where it's coming from. All of that's available. In terms of distributions, so you can get different links, like how do you want to distribute it? And a single reusable link is kind of the best way to do it because we don't have access to email through Qualtrics. So here's our actual link, and we can actually customize that link to say, this is our HP, you know, survey example. Okay, and then I can just copy link address and paste. This is another way of just copying the HTML. I spelled this. Right, if you want to, or you can just, again, use this link up here that they give you right here and just copy link address, and then you could send it into through any email with that link right there. If you're practicing with this survey, this would be a good, just grab this link and send it to your client or customer, and then they can preview this before it goes live to anyone else, but this will be your live link that you can send to anyone you want. So before you do that, you've got to make sure it's published. So it is published now, so it's good to go. This IQ score is nice. They kind of just tell you, hey, how are your questions set up? How's your wording? So it's kind of nice that they kind of tell you what could happen, what's good or bad. Not necessarily always bad just because they say it's bad, but at least you can kind of give yourself a quick review. Yeah, this survey looks pretty good. They like it. We're good to go. Publish, distribute, and there's our link. And then we can send that link through social media channel, any channel we want. Heck, we can even do a QR code, which is fun. I haven't done that. I haven't done the personal links, but what this does is you can actually send a specific link to individuals if you want to be sure that they answered it. Send it through social media channels. But again, we don't really have, I don't think we have access to log in and tie our accounts to this. So I usually have just used the anonymous link. Now, one of the things we can do and that you guys want to do is you'll want to collaborate on this project together. I think that's this here. So how do I add someone? So again, this was my user ID from UVU. And it's your UVU ID. Of course, that is me. And there's a lot of people here, 10,000 people because of all the students. So you might be able to search by students. That's kind of new, but you can actually select that way, or again, just find their UVU ID and type them in here that way. And then you could bring in your group into, and this would then be shared with everyone. And you can see shared with me projects come over here. And then if it's been shared with you and you're not the original author, you can then add it here and collaborate with the survey too. So that came over here on this collaborate tool. Don't know if there's another way to share it, but I know that that's kind of the quick way to come in and quickly share with others. When you get done or you start getting results to come in, you'll see reports. Data analysis, this is where it kind of gets clunky, is kind of a way to kind of look at your responses And so it'll take a little bit while as they come in. Of course, I don't have any responses right now to see, but that's where you kind of review as things go. And the reports will actually, again, as it pulls in data, you'll see kind of how people are answering. And you can share report, you can download report, those type of things. Once it gets done, it's pretty good. It's clunky looking here, but I think Qualtrics does a pretty good job once you actually export the report into a file. So you can kind of see how questions were answered. And that's really kind of the basics of it. There's clearly a lot more you can do, but this would get you in, get you comfortable, feeling like, hey, okay, I can create a pretty good survey, have some fun with it. Getting creative is great, but keeping it simple is also really important with surveys. So I would stick to the basics the best you can, make the experience as easy and quick for the survey taker as you can, and that should provide you with the best results. Varying the questions does help if it's purposeful to get you the answers you need. But again, extra fill in the blanks, I would keep that to a minimum best you can. Of course, if it's exploratory survey, sometimes you can't because you want to get those answers from people and then you follow up with that. Different versions of the same survey are great for validation. So different ways of asking the same questions, sending kind of an A survey and a B survey to different groups, just seeing how they do. We sometimes call this pre-surveys, where we'll send out a survey just to see if our questions are giving us the answers we think they're giving us. A lot goes into this to get a really good survey result and validated results going forward, but it's a great, easy tool to get results from potentially, hopefully you send it out to the right customers and get good data from customer bases. So that's a quick overview of Qualtrics. Wanted to just get you into that. I think that'll get you enough to be dangerous and have some fun with it and see how it goes. So it's a great tool. And again, when you get done with it and having practiced with this and done, I'd love to talk to you about how to share results in presentations. And we'll talk about that. And two, it's a great tool to have on your resume, something that you've had experience with, you know how to set up surveys. It gives you, again, some leverage. It's a big name in the marketplace. Many companies still don't use it because it's an expensive premium, right? There's MailChimp and Constant Contact and those type of, like, I can do surveys as well. But if you know one setup, the familiarity works for all of them. So having this name on your resume is great that you've done this and experienced this and done it with a client. So be sure to add it to your resume as something you've done, you know, in a project in our class. So with that, if you have questions or concerns, let me know. If you'd like me to look over your survey once you kind of got it close, I'd love to help you with that too. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go to town and have some fun with it. So.